definitely one of the most popular kids TV networks of the 90s and the early 2000s. It had some of the most banging shows a kid could ever see. Like, I was so lucky that I grew up with access to Sky, so I could watch Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, Cartoon Network, all the amazing kids networks. So, for the sake of nostalgia, I thought it would be fun to rank all the Nickelodeon TV shows that I used to watch as a kid. This is just my own personal opinion, so don't come for me. So let's get straight into it. Starting off with the classic Drake and Josh. Like, this is probably the first sitcom I ever watched as a kid, and upon rewatch, it actually still holds up. My hair is a mess today. Oh my god. We move. I hit record. I had a huge crush on Drake as a kid. I don't know why, I just did. And I just find it so funny how Josh was meant to be like the goofy brother, the less like good looking brother, but by the end of the show he ended up being better looking than Drake. It's just funny turn of events. But yeah, it was a pretty good show for its time and it still holds up now. So I think I'm going to give Drake and Josh 3.5 stars. Next up we have iCarly, the spiritual successor to Drake and Josh, in my opinion. iCarly has such good rewatch value. Like, the later seasons actually cover serious issues. Relationships, for example. Like, there's an episode that me and my boyfriend watched recently, actually. It delves into Sam and Freddie's relationship, and like, they're convinced that like, oh, since they're a couple, they should be doing everything together, upon like what Carly is telling them was like, you know, you guys should be doing like everything together. Like, come on, like, you're a couple, you need to do everything together. But that's not right. That's really bad. That's really not good. So yeah, it tackles like themes like that. It's like, hey, just because you're in a relationship doesn't mean you have to do everything together, you know? Like, for a kid's show, it's like, it carries some good messages, you know? It also had some banging guest stars, like One Direction was on it, the First Lady, Michelle Obama was on it, fucking Jimmy Fallon, Tina Fey, who else? A load of other stars were on iCarly, and it's just so bizarre that they got so many guest stars of that like value on this show. And overall, it's just a really funny show. Like, it's gas. So I'm gonna give iCarly a solid 4 stars. Next up we have Rugrats. I loved this show as a kid, and like, I loved the show as a kid. It was so comforting and the theme song was banging. And I really do love that one meme to come out of this show that we can all relate to now as adults. I'll put it on screen for those who don't know what I'm talking about, but you will definitely know what to see. It just hits hard now, man. We're adults. We've lost control of our lives, man. But like, I didn't watch it much as a kid, but I feel like upon rewatch now, I would really like it. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of adult jokes in that show that, you know, a lot of us kids didn't catch on to. So yeah. So what am I going to give it? I'm going to give it a 2.5 stars. Next up is a favourite of mine. We had Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. This was an absolute banger of a show. I actually watched this religiously. Like, when it came to Netflix, like later on when I like had my little iPad or whatever, I watched it religiously. It was such a banger of a show. I have Paramount Plus, so it's probably on that, so I should probably give it a rewatch. I should really see if it still holds up. I can't wait to see. And I love how like the main cast like have a podcast now, and it's called, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but I'd say it's such a good laugh. I need to start listening to it. So yeah, what am I going to give Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide? Well, I'm going to give it 3 stars. Next up we have Victorious, which is definitely my favorite out of all the sitcoms. Like, this is the one I remember most of. Myself and my boyfriend have actually rewatched most of this show, and it's actually so wild, some of the jokes that they managed to slip into a kids show. Like, yikes. Like, the one joke that sticks out to me is one character's like, how could someone go from an A to a D? He is on about grades. Then one of the girls pipes up, happened to me in 8th grade. Was not talking about grades. But yeah, how could we miss that? But anyways, most of the episodes are absolute bangers. When I watched this show, this is at the point in my life where I think I was the most impressionable. So these characters did shape a lot of my personality. specifically a certain redhead of the cast. What am I giving Victorious? I'm giving it 4.5 stars. Next up is a show that a lot of people may have forgotten about, but it's on this list because I remember it. Next show we have is called Marvin. I really hope some of you guys remember this show and it's not just me being crazy. This show was just so wild and goofy. Would I like it now? Probably not. The basic premise of this show is basically an alien's whole planet got destroyed and he got sent to Earth and he gets taken in by a family. So it's an alien trying to live among us and act normal, so you know. Would I like it now? Probably not. So what am I going to give it? I think I'm just going to give it 1 star because I feel like I just really would not like it now. Next up we have House of Anubis. This was peak drama for me as a kid. Like, I thought this was Oscar worthy. The suspense, it had me in a chokehold. Like, this whole show had me in a chokehold. Like, I remember sitting down at 6 o'clock on, I think it was Tuesday nights, the new episodes came out. Like, whoo! Honey, I was invested. Does the drama hold up? Not so much. It's very cliche high school drama, and like they use the same like 3 dramatic tracks over and over again. Lost, it's not as good as it. If I was to watch it now, which I am rewatching it on Paramount Plus, I swear I'm not being sponsored by Paramount Plus. I just love the streaming service. It's my favorite. But I'm rewatching it now. It's like, this is kind of trash, but I love it because it's so campy, that kind of way. But it is a guilty pleasure, so I'm gonna give it 3 stars. Next up, we have Fairly Odd Parents. I feel like this show will genuinely hold up when I go back to it. I really liked this show as a kid because it's just so silly, so dumb. It shapes, its colors, the humor is great. It's everything I liked as a kid. And it was genuinely really funny at times because I'm seeing clips on the internet now and it's like, oh, that's actually fucking hilarious. Very good, man! Like Mr. Crocker, the poor man. I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars. Next up, we have The Thundermans. I binged this show when it came to Netflix. I watched all of it a couple of years ago. Oh my god, phone, stop! No! My phone was on silent and it's charging on the other side of the room.
12 seconds later.
I am really intrigued by the movie though that's coming out in the next couple of months. I can't wait to watch it. Although I did realise this morning that they MCU'd the costumes. Not a fan. The costumes were so good. Like, why do they have to MCU-ify everything? Oh well. I'm still gonna watch it. I'm still gonna give it like a fair trial, but it's like, oh no, don't do this to me. I had a crush on Max as a kid. Like, he is so fine and he just aged really well now, and I'm like, hello. This show had its funny moments, but I don't think it was as great as the other sitcoms, but still, it was a good show. I liked it. 3 stars. Next up, we have, I dare say, the most iconic Nickelodeon show, SpongeBob SquarePants. I'm currently watching all 13 seasons of this. I am nearly finished. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with my life once I finish this. This show altered my brain chemistry in a good way. I hope. Like, it's just comedy gold. It's so quotable. Like, this show needs to be studied because if you're one of those kids that were unfortunately not allowed to watch this show, we can tell there is a very distinct difference between kids that were allowed to watch SpongeBob and the kids that weren't based on their humor. Like, that needs to be studied. I don't know what it is, but it needs to be studied. No, I'm not crazy. It's such a good show. It's like definitely one of the most iconic shows to ever grace kids TV. Instant 5 stars. Next up we have Fred the Show. This show is the definition of brain rot. Like, I grew up watching Fred on the internet. That was my version of brain rot. Fred and Annoying Orange together. That is what I watched. It's a miracle I turned out somewhat normal. I don't remember any of the episodes from this show whatsoever. I feel like if I was to watch this now, I'd probably punch my TV. Like, I respect the grind though from your man who plays Fred. I don't know what his name is. Lucas. I don't know his last name, I'm sorry. But I respect the grind. He started like making like silly little YouTube videos on the internet And then he got 3 movies and a TV show. Respect the hustle. And he also guest starred in iCarly. Like, bro. He had 2 TV shows. He had Fred the Show and he was the main character in Marvin Marvin. Like, respect the grind, man. Like, Jesus. But Fred the Show, 2 stars. Finally, we're on to our last one. We have Sam and Cat, the Victorious and iCarly spin-off. I liked this at the time when it came out, but it probably doesn't hold up. And it got cancelled after 1 season. So, and they literally jumped the shark, so no thanks. Like, I just find it so funny that, like, whenever my dad, like, tries to ask me about Ariana Grande, he says, oh, the one for Victorious, the cat person. I'm like, bro. But this show, I feel like it wasn't great overall. And after hearing how Jeanette was treated on the set of iCarly, Nickelodeon, and even on Sam and Cat, it has really soured me on this show in particular. So yeah. 1 star, I think. These are some honorable mentions because I feel like no one remembers these shows in particular, but I do, so I just need to know that I am not completely delusional and I didn't make this up. Anyone else remember Camp Orange? It was kind of like a kids Nickelodeon version of the show I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. I remember watching a couple episodes like in the middle of the week, like in the evenings or whatever, and I really wanted to go on it, but like, I don't know, why did they cancel it? I feel like that would be so good now. Another one is Spliced. Like, it was mainly like on Nicktoons instead of Nickelodeon, but still it's in the Nick era, but whatever. Spliced. Does anyone else remember this? Like, I do, and I watched a couple episodes on YouTube a couple years ago and I'm like, bro, why is no one talking about this show? The last one. I heard no one else talk about this ever, and like, I know I didn't make this up because I found pictures like on the internet like of the thing. I think that's it, but I know I didn't make this up, but it's called Rossley's Goonies, I think, something Ghoulies. But I remember getting my dad to wake me up. No, I remember waking up my dad and be like, oh my god, like it's on at like 8 in the morning. Like, please, like, put on the TV for me. Like, I need to watch this because it was, like, meant to be, like, I was obsessed with anything scary as a kid. So, like, when I saw it, I was like, oh my god, like, scary. There's, like, organs playing or whatever. Like, I was like, no, I need to watch this. So, yeah. Does anyone else remember these shows? Like, or am I tweaking? Like, genuinely. So, there we have it. I hope you guys enjoyed me going through all the shows that I watched on Nickelodeon as a kid. Please let me know what shows you watched on Nickelodeon as kids if you had access to it. If you enjoyed this, please give this video a thumbs up, and if you're new here and you like my vibe, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell button to be notified when I decide to grace the internet with my presence again. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I'll put my name on screen now. Don't forget to follow me on TikTok. I'll put my name on screen now. And I will see you guys in the next video really soon. Bye! I swear, I'm not crazy. I know those shows exist.